back to the Neil Haley Show. I'm excited to welcome program first my co-host, Paul Hollis, author of the Hollow Man series, owner of Hollow Man Publishing and American Made VA. Paul, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest.
I'm very excited. We have a brand new author coming along from Regency Romance Historical Dramas, which is terrific. I've read the books, Mina Valentine, and she's going to tell us all about everything today.
No, she's going to talk about
Welcome.
how we researched blew me away last time, Mina. Thanks again for stopping by. Because here's the thing, when you're looking at how much time it takes to write these books, and now we see your beautiful library, you read a
Yeah.
lot of books. So were
Oh,
you
I
dreaming
do.
of
And
romance novelists for years?
you haven't seen half of them.
But here's my question to you. Have you been
Okay.
always, when you've been an academic, wanting to write a romance novel? Is this always what you wanted to do?
I've always been a writer. The first time I can remember writing anything of any substance was when I was about 11. But most what I've done is through academia, a lot of journal articles. That's a far cry from romance novels.
Yeah, but you've been a fan of romance novels too. So add those two components
Oh
together.
yeah.
You've always wanted to
Oh
write.
yeah. I've read.
You've written
Yeah, I've read them
academia.
forever. I used to sneak them from my mother because she didn't like me reading them. So I'd hide them under my bed and read them at night. And I was probably about 11 then too.
When you
Um,
talk to other women about romance novels, what do they say to you why they like them? If they, some of them don't want to admit it, right? They,
there's a lot of women that will, but it depends on is it a sexy historical romance? Is it a spicy? Is it steamy? I write fair, steamy romance novels. Most women don't admit to reading those, but those are probably the most popular. And I always add a little bit of that, but it's good.
why is historical sexy when it talks about romance? Because why are historical times so intriguing to women, especially when women probably weren't considered like
We
didn't have the
we
rights.
we were property. That's about it, property. And most of the marriages were put together based on what they could do for each other and staying within the aristocratic community. Um, there were not a whole lot of love based marriages, but the time is romantic to a lot of women. There's a lot of protocol. Men were they did nice things. They courted you. They brought you flowers. They got to know your parents. You got to ride through Central Park. They bought you books. And so it's just that whole time that you can romanticize about that may or may not necessarily have been there.
Oh wow. And that's the thing, and romanticized in a way of something different than the ho hum of today, right? It's
Absolutely. Yeah. And as we said in another podcast, everybody wants a happy ending. Everybody does. And that's the key element to a romance novel. There has to be a happy ending. If you think about the movie Love Story, it's not a romance. Uh, she dies. The, yeah, she dies. It's not a happy ever.
after. Everyone wants the happy
But
ever after. Yeah.
it's the what HEAs, happily ever after. But there's a lot of research that has to be done, especially if you want credibility to the time. And so the books I wrote, they needed rams. One of the rams had gotten away, and they had to go to an auction to buy rams. And so they were talking about which were the best. I had to do research on sheep in England. I've done that with horses, carriages, food, clothing, hygiene, and sometimes those things are hard to dig up.
Totally.
But if you're a good researcher, which I have a huge background in research, I find it exciting. I love doing research.
And that's what keeps people entertained till the juicy parts come, right?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, and I can take little bits and pieces of my life or other people's lives and incorporate it into a time back when.
All
And
right.
it's fun.
All right. So
That way, that way I'm not writing an autobiography.
yes, and Mina Valentin is available everywhere on social media right now, and soon we'll be announcing the book, which looks like it's going to be pre-orders in a couple weeks. So look forward to hopefully announcing that the next time you come on the show. Thanks again, Mina.
Me too.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.